to run the syndicate.
But Anvid, what stands out in this conversation is that these gangsters are operating right under the very noses of the cops. If they are making the claims that they are operating right from the premises of jail, that means the cops are aware what is going on. So what's the point of this crackdown if they only have allowed these gangs to prosper?
Yeah, very correct, because see, we have seen in Sidhu Moosewala case how it was the owners came on to Lawrence Bishnoi, who was at that time lodged into Tihar jail, and it was being said since the beginning. Even the cops have come on record and have said that Lawrence Bishnoi was in direct connection with Goldie Brar, who is believed to be in Canada. Now these two men were in contact over phone, and Lawrence Bishnoi was in Tihar, Goldie Brar sits abroad, and they had believed to be orchestrated the entire killing of Sidhu Moosewala. Another sensational case of Sukesh Chandrasekharan, who was in Rohini jail, when he allegedly extorted 215 crore from Aditya Singh, Shivendra Singh's wife. So incidents of this, people using cell phones in jail have not been, very rare, and these two cases have actually opened up the secret that how phones are easily sneaked in. When we try to speak to these gangsters and some cops and some of the sources in jail, they told us that phones are the main reasons why all these gangs have been able to control their henchmen outside. Phones are sneaked in very easily, and when we come down to how these phones are sneaked in, mostly it has also been said that time and again jail administration have also been caught by the local police or teams of special cells sneaking in phones. Now the rates are such that just to sneak in an Android phone that usually costs around 10 to 12,000, a jail administration is offered an amount of 50 to 60,000 by the gangsters. If an iPhone is sneaked in, they get at least 1 lakh. So whenever a jail staff is short of money, they want money out of greed or whatever reasons, they usually tend to supplying phones inside, and this has come on record in many of the cases of Delhi police as well.
Then the question that begets itself, Anvit, we'll have multiple parts of this investigation. There are multiple confessions. It's a Monday crackdown and a Tuesday confession that we are bringing to you here at CNN News 18, once again at the forefront of investigation and getting down to the bottom of a story that is perhaps the root cause of a lot of strife that we are seeing around us, especially in this northern belt. Imagine gangs which are operating not just for nefarious activities but are also aiding, abetting and clearly involved in terror activities and the finance of terror activities. Shashikant ji, former DGP Punjab, is with us. Hemant Atri, senior journalist, is with us. Namaste Shashikant ji and Hemant Atri. Namaste. But let me first ask you, Shashikant ji, the simple point is that if cops are supplying mobile phones and if an entire operation is being run via phones inside jail, then these cops should also be treated as terrorists. They should also be treated as aiding and abetting terror, not just corrupt.
Agreed, absolutely, 100% agreed. But I'll say that it's a can of worms. You open the can of worms, you find cops, you find certain other person, including certain politicians, who have been providing shelter to them. And I would just like to bring in a new point here. We're talking about gangsters, but I now divide the line. There is a gangster and there is a terror group. Some of these gangsters, like whatever has been happening in Punjab, Lawrence Bishnoi case, we call them as a new terror group which has been coming up.
Yes.
They have international links, number of countries, Pakistan, they are into drugs, they are into arms, they are got rocket launchers, they are indulging in murder, they are judging extortions not only in Punjab but even at Bollywood and all those things. And this situation is extremely bad. It's about time that we try to divide a line that, hey man, this is the gangster, normal gangster, who indulges in law and order issues, and these are the international terror groups. And both of these groups or subgroups thereof, there's certainly involvement of certain jail officials, certain cops, certain politicians, as also certain other officials belonging to other sectors, other services.
No, let us not
elaborate on that, but we can talk about it sometime later.
But Shashikant ji, we should not just elaborate. We need to turn around and say who are these people who for 50,000-60,000 rupees are ready to put the country's security at stake, who are ready to allow drugs to perpetrate in society, who are saying that okay, let them smuggle arms and ammunition from the enemy territory and then circulate it all across our country, and then you are going to say, oh, I caught 4, I caught 5, but you allowed them to fester in the first place. Then they should also be booked not for corruption. They should be booked for acting against the interest of the state under unlawful activities.
Precisely. They are also indulging in terror activities. Like these guys, they're getting fake passports. That's why it's an entire spectrum. They go through the immigration and they get like these guys, they have been caught in Armenia, Kenya, Nepal, Azerbaijan, and certain, and of course, the top is Canada. And that means there's this entire nexus, which I'm sure that Anaya has got into it. All these persons, whatever service, whatever group they belong to, they all need to be booked under the acts. That is, it's a kind of rebellion,
Right.
it's a kind of extortion. I'll say that they should be booked into national security acts and all that, this kind of acts that we have, most deterrent of them.
Well, the big take